I thought I'd talk a little about aging, because it is a Feast of Fools night, and aging is foolish. And so I'll start with this. A slippery slope, anti-aging, and the skiing, peeing story all in one. The other day, I met this young whippersnapper who says, "So what was it like in the olden days before mini disc players?" Yeah, mini disc players, the olden days. My mind, reel to reels, performs analog covered wagons. So I told this young whippersnapper iPod how I skied before the invention of snowboards, which he could not believe. BS, he says. Before snowboards, I say. Back in the day when there was still snow to blow, we were the real ski team. The professional, no-style ski team. 6 chicks with extreme theme. And I told him how we take our old cassette players, you know, the ones that look like Black Magic chocolate boxes, or, you know, what else do they look like? Oh yes, old shoe boxes. And we duct tape them to our bodies like suicide bombers before our time, iPod. Way back before Walkmans, we figured out how to see God. And we'd put on our headphones, and we'd smoke a fatty, and we'd press go Led Zeppelin, go Pink Floyd, go Hendrix, only classics for the freaks, wired for sound. Down the mountains, high-strung tunes, we were Raven Mountain monsoons, ballistic chicks, not remastered like some re-erected slick dick that's never felt the inside of a pussy without a second skin. Oh no! I told him how we'd blast through those mega bunks like Mach 5 G-force hypersonic supernova tank girls on 220 rocket skis, Dark Side of the Moon on our headphones, K2 Solomon heads beneath our lace-up boots, and we'd hit the moguls, hardcore, max air, speed bump extraordinaire, shooting stars to the cosmos, sunshine. We were the real meal deal even before McDonald's ruined real. And we were the nasty-ass good old bad girls. Even before there was a word for avalanche, we were skiing off the sides of mountains like sticks of pistol dynamite, aerial snow angels. We took Black Diamond runs like they were bunny hills. Even before you were imagined by your mummy and your daddy, we were reverberating to the ice crystal chorus of an unnamed snow goddess called Naturama. And Whippersnapper says, "Well, now you're really dating yourself." I said, "Well, actually, I'm dating someone younger than you." Abracadabra! Poof! There was this one day in early spring. Early spring. Spring, so spring, even the snow thought it was hot. And the professional no-style teams standing in this long lift line, stoned out of our minds, wineskin through Ray-Ban moonshine in the sunshine. When we heard this high-pitched scream, this blue murder bellow coming from this patch of trees just above us, and everyone in the long lift line turns around to look. I mean, what's going on in the trees up there? It's too early in the season. It can't be a bear. And, well, I guess she was a beginner. And I guess she went into the trees to pee. And I guess she pulled her one-piece ski suit down around her knees. And I guess her skis started to slide down the slope. And I guess she couldn't stop because she was a ski bunny. And she came blasting out of the trees at warp speed. And she was screaming. And she wasn't thinking, because all that screaming causes everyone to turn around and look. And Lady Godiva Divine flies by in the long ski lift line with her one-piece ski suit down around her knees, flailing behind her now like an inflatable Lovecraft, a blow-up unitard, screaming and peeing and skiing all at the same time. Multitasking she was. Past the howling ski lift line with a long, hilarious yellow trail of misfortune, almost Olympiad pee extending behind her in a golden trail of bad memory. Later in the lodge, I told her she could get an endorsement for that kind of embarrassment. V8. And then it hit me, whippersnapper. We're all going downhill. But really, it's about how. It's about how we go down. And now I would like to invite Malcolm Mooney, a painter and a wonderful jazz impresario. And I would like to invite Kelvin Bell from New York, who's here to play with Quincy, to come and jam with me. Music stand, this one's for you. He can't see?
It's going to be good.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's
You
good.
can see now?
Now I can see clearly now.
So we're going to play around with this.
Okay.
I wrote this piece, Feast of Fools. It's April Fools, and we're all fools. I was thinking of the tarot card, actually, the zero, and at the beginning of the journey. The tarot cards for fool is the beginning of the journey. It's zero. And I thought, yeah, zero. And I'm going to think about transformation. So I have this piece about transformation, and do we have a lot of reverb on Mr. Malcolm?
Sexy.
A lot of reverb.
Sexy.
What do we say? 600? A delay? What do you call it? 600? Five. Maybe 500, 600 delays. Oh, thank you. Let's hear it for Derek, the sound man. Sexy Madonna from
Florence. I said, sexy Madonna from Florence. Sexy Madonna from Florence. Sexy Madonna from Florence. She brought rain in such like torrents. I said, sexy Madonna from Florence.
Sexy Madonna from Florence stands before me in the after-hour street lamp torch on cobbles of curb in that crazy bardo space twixt theater and life. She stands opposite me on stones of ancient lane, rife with Lorca in her veins.
Comes into this porch.
And the gypsy flamingo clapping, and the flues of helmets dust rising, and the zappadiado heel snapping, and the deep sun shadow of duende, blood wrapping ghosts around and between us. Hantayendo! Like a dancing spirit, it hangs over our head. Like the agony of an animal with 3 spears in its side, it hangs over our heads. Like the blindfolded poet with 7 rifles aimed at his heart, It hangs over our heads like the single word fire! Executions, devolution, assassination of desire. The air is charged with an omphalos hits. What a beautiful show, she says. I can hear Lorca's voices rise.
Ballad of the moon, ballad of the moon, ballad of the cantos nuevos, cantos nuevos.
It's from the grave, she says. Sexy Madonna from Florence.
Sexy Madonna.
Where's the hanged man on a long chain of devastated pearls? Shockwave around her neck like a high arcana boa constrictor. I think woman strangled by her own pet tarot card, poisoned by a traitor's elixir. Asp! 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 Sexy Madonna from Florence stands restless in a spotlight of Belgian moon full of early spring. She shivers with a shudder, shifts from one foot to the other, swathed in a light blue cashmere shawl. I think she's a chrysalis Stonewall. She's a chrysalis Stonewall. She's a chrysalis stone. She's a chrysalis stone. She's a chrysalis stone. She's a chrysalis stone. She's a chrysalis stone walled, walls, walled, walled, stone walled. She's a chrysalis stone walled. She's a chrysalis stone walled. She's a chrysalis stone, 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 stone walled. She's a chrysalis stone walled. So I lift her stole from her shoulders to her head as a hood or a veil. And that's when I espy the perfect tail of her black liquid liner. How she draws down the moon with her eye. I am close enough to see inside. She's more than Cleopatra's disguise. She might even be Isis. Eyes so deep, they make me afraid to fall into them. I freeze. For her eyes would need an expedition. They are Mariana's Trench, Challenger Deep, 36,000 feet. They mesmerize, so suggestive. They are the swinging pocket watch. They induce hypnotic sleep. They induce hypnotic sleep. They induce hypnotic sleep. Entranced, I submerse myself slow. Rip, current, undertow. Sense of time, space slips away. Time, space slips away. Am I an astronomer? Am I an astronomer? Am I an astronomer? I don't know. In mind's eye, I am Leonardo's last brushstroke of her eyes. And she is the great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-daughter of Mona Lisa. Her eyes, her demise. For they will drive men mad with longing and mystery. They are the impossible placebo. I dream of being the surrealist in Paris who plots to steal her eyes from the walls of the Louvre so I can look into Santo Spirito forever. For her eyes are a Mesopotamian magnum opus eras, older than the stones on which she stands. Her eyes a direct line to the original amulet, essence of earth, pyramid of seashell and sands. She whispers, I will tell you my secrets. I will tell you my secrets. I will tell you my secrets. And in my dreams, 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 dreams, and in my dreams, and in my dreams. Now, maybe it was the Lorca show that shifted her shadow so. I don't know. But as she speaks of her dreams in Italian whisper low, it's like her breath lifts from the cave of the crow. Like she goes to Point Nemo, divines herself, and returns with a crazy Nostradamus afterglow. Forward in time to see the unknown of who she is. And her hanged man swings across her belly there on the cobblestone as she breaks through, spiral spun, incredible. She gives birth to herself before me in the nocturne, her head a halo as she lowers her eyes and sees into her own vision, her own apparition in which she flies, morphing, mystic, 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 morphing, mystic. It could be a play. We're all in a play. Is this not a play? Her lover advances, breaks the spell, puts his arm around her. It's time to go, are you cold? And she says, I am warm now. I am warm now. I am warm now. And I return to the words of my teacher. She said, you have entered the realm of gold, and now I know what she meant. For I would crush a priceless pearl and drink it to stay in this moment for time, for time, for all time. Zingaro, Zingaro. Zingaro, 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 Zingaro.